Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, Frank Hamilton, online fitness coach. You know, the man with the motto be grinding or be nothing. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on? Coach Frank here, Make It Make Sense podcast. All right, episode 3. We're going to keep it moving, keep it going. All right, today, what I want to talk about is when people are on their fitness journey and they set a goal, but they set a low bar for achieving the goal. What I mean is, one of the things you hear commonly from people when they start working out is, I'm going to the gym. All right, so what? You have a program, trainer, anything you're doing specifically or in particular? No, I'm going, but I mean, isn't that enough? And, you know, I used to tell people, this all the time, going to the gym, it's just like going to the bank. You can't take anything out of it unless you put something into it. You won't get anything, you won't receive anything without giving anything. You can't just walk into a bank and say, give me money. You can't just walk into a gym and say, all right, give me the completion of my goal. I need the end result right now. It just doesn't work that way. So when I say people set a low bar, they set a bar of I'm at least going to the gym. You know, I understand. Uh, I understand when you first start going to the gym, like it's difficult if you don't know anything. If you're trying to do the whole process on your own, it may be a thing. Just just to get up and go to the gym. Now, although those actions are the same as I'm just going to the gym, but if someone looks at I'm just going to the gym as a completion, as a milestone, as something, that's major. That's a lot different than someone saying, I'm going to the gym just to see if I like that environment. I'm going to the gym to see if that's a time of day that I can go to the gym, see what the crowd is like, if the daycare, those particular things, they can both be seen as, you know, just going to the gym, but someone that sees I'm just going to the gym as the completion of something, they're gonna just focus on that only. At least I'm here. So the intent of their movement when they get to the gym is gonna be all over the place. Those may be the folks that have, the long conversations, they have a lot of friends, things like that. And there's really no direction because their whole goal was achieved already. They just wanted to go to the gym, but and so when you're working out and you're starting your fitness journey, it's simple to set that low bar, because a lot of us do it. I'll admit, when I first started working out, I did the exact same thing. I didn't take the time to learn how to work out. All I did was I went to the gym. I did the trendy things. I was taking protein, um, taking creatine, and whatever other vitamins, and um, vitamin B and things like that. And I'm just walking around my gallon of water and but I had no clue as to how to work out. I didn't know how to build a program. I had truly looked at myself and assessed myself as into what I wanted out of working out and how I was going to achieve it. And that's one of the main things, is, people just say, I'm going to start working out. Okay, but what does that mean? What's the goal? It's like I remember when when I first started when I first started competing as an amateur, the environment of the people that I was around, no one had gotten a pro card before. At that particular time, I would say it was more a thing to just say you were going pro as instead of excuse me, instead of actually doing it. So it wasn't like a thing. So it was like, people were just competing. And so like initially, although my the goal I set in my head but I hadn't set into practice was to go pro. That was my goal, but I hadn't really set that goal into practice. I wasn't necessarily doing the things that I needed to do to achieve that. I was, my workouts weren't really with the focus or with the intent of going pro. I was just working out, and I would say what I had done was I had set a low bar. I had, at least for the people that I was around, after going to the USA's, after my first amateur show, I'd pretty much done a lot. I'd done better than some of the people that I was around. So my bar of achievement was that I saw for myself then was just better than them. Not better than them as a person. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying just as in competition, I had placed better than the people I was around. So while focusing on that, it made it seem as though I'd actually done something because I lowered my bar, right? I didn't stay focused on what I wanted to do, which was to go pro. Um, I guess I got, lost in the hype of competing, your body looking a way that it's never looked in my entire life. Like I grew up so small framed I try to tell people that all the time. When I graduated, I was 18 years old, 6'2", maybe 140, 145 pounds. I was not a big guy. Um, so now, after doing an amateur show and doing a national show or a regional and a national show, obviously I look different than I had growing up. So I kind of got lost within that process. And it really hit home when, let's see, so my competition track as an amateur was, did my first regional show in Arizona, the AZ Pro. I did my next show, the USA's in Vegas, and I got like 12th. And to me, that felt like 12th or 15th. To me, that was on top of the world. I placed at my first national show. It was way better than I thought I could have ever done because I had never anticipated. I hadn't put myself in those positions mentally, right? I was just competing and saying I wanted these things, but it's like you have to see your excuse me, you have to see yourself in the position you want to be if you want to work to be there. So I had said I wanted to be pro, but again, I only hung around amateur competitors, or no competitors at all. I wasn't very familiar with many of the pros or the process of posing as a pro and the shows and things of that nature. So I was saying, I want to be pro, but my actions weren't really following that. So as I was saying on my track, I did my regional show, the AZ Pro. I did the USA's a couple weeks later. That was 2012. 2013, um, I think I just only waited to do the Pittsburgh Masters because I was under the assumption that, I've been doing the Master show, that after having placing so well the previous year at the USA is that I would easily be able to go to this show and be better than, right? Wrong. I didn't even train to be doing another national show. I pretty much continued to train as I trained when I was training for my first regional show. So again, I was saying that I wanted a goal, but I wasn't putting myself in position because my actions weren't showing that. My bar was low. So I remember when I went to Pittsburgh to do the show, we're sitting in the athletes meeting, and I'm looking around at these guys, and everybody in the auditorium at the athletes meeting was humongous. I'm like, where the men's physique guys at? This is ridiculous, right? So men's physique getting ready to line up. I'm backstage. I'm seeing some of the guys, and I remember it was a buddy of mine, still friends to this day. Keep in touch. Negus. He was doing the shows backstage, and he was doing his physique. And I'm just looking at him. It was just these guys were like three dimensional to me. I mean, I was doing a national show at 6'2", 183 pounds. I mean, guys were 215, 220 that I was lining up next to. So like, yeah, so everyone was just humongous to me. And it was like to the point where after the show, like I wasn't even mad at how I placed. Like, all right, this okay, so I was I had lost at the athletes meeting. Any groundwork that I had lost at the athletes meeting. From there, I didn't even know why I was in Pittsburgh. But either way, I'm there. I got to do the show. Backstage, the expediters are back. They're giving us the rules, telling us the instructions, things to do, this and that. Right? I'm just listening. I'm not paying attention. In my head, I'm just like, I just got to get out of here. I got to go home. This is just this is stupid. Why am I here? I'm just gonna like an idiot. I They're giving us the rules before we go on stage. Didn't hear a word. Um, so when we get up there, I'm the first person in line. I'm the first person to go out on stage. I go out, and now in the year before, how the shows go were the two shows that I'd done. How the process was: you go out there, the judge tells you when to make your turns, when to make your rotations. When the expediters were backstage giving us information, and I was zoned out already on the flight back to Arizona, they were telling us that when you go out there, you're going to do your routine. You're going to do your rotations on your own, and then you got to come off the stage when the judges tell you to. Did everybody get that? I said yes. Did I get that though? I did not. So we get out there, and I just like stood looking at the judges, just facing the front, waiting on them to tell me, when to turn around. They were waiting on me to just turn around. So when I stood there for about 30 seconds, the head judge was just like, all right, thank you, contestant number, whatever my number was. Thank you. And I walked off the stage. And I'm walking off the stage. As I'm walking off, I'm looking back to see the other guy that's coming back that's coming on stage. I see him go out and do a whole routine where he's rotating around. I'm like, okay. So that's why, like, even at the end, like, I mean, I tell everybody all the time, I placed in the top 10. Like, whoa, man, and you made a mistake like that and still placed in the top 10? Yep, sure did. Out of 11. So I'm not sure what 11 did, like, or maybe he didn't show up. But yeah, I placed top 10 out of 11. But when I left, I had an understanding that I hadn't worked hard enough to put myself in position to do anything besides what happened when I was there. My pops called me when I was leaving the venue on my way back to the hotel, and I told him what happened, and he asked me if I was upset, if I was okay. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's just one of those things. I didn't work hard. The other guys were really good. I just have to accept that if I want what I keep saying, then I have to work harder to get it. It's and my dad just always taught me to work hard for the things you want. I had to get myself out of the headspace of I'm just saying I want my pro card. I got to actually put into groundwork. So a couple things happened that allowed me to switch it up a little bit. The coach that I had stopped coaching. I ended up having to get a new coach, and it was cool because the new coach that I met, I'd actually met through a friend that was on the bodybuilding team that I was on. So it was cool that way. When I met the coach, by now I had looked at some pro athletes, and I had in my mind what I needed to do. First of all, I was 180 pounds on stage. I needed to gain weight. I needed to be bigger. Um, Certain body parts need to be better. My chest needed to be fuller. My back needed to be bigger. I need to have better conditioning. These are things I had in my head already. Like I'm looking at the pros. I know what I need. This is what's going to happen. This is how I need to get there. So when I went into this coach and I'm asking her, I'm showing her the pictures of my last show. She's looking at me my current physique, and her game plan was exactly what what I had visioned. So right there, we locked. It was a sync. So it was cool. Man, couldn't have found a better trainer. Now that I've set in my head, all right, now I have someone that's going to help. That's going to give me the framework and the game plan to achieve my goal. Now I just got to put myself in the work. I have to do the work. So 2014, I think I did. So 2012, I did my regional national show. 2013, I did a national show, the Pittsburgh show. In 2014, um, I wanted to, in my original regional show, it was my first show, didn't know anything about competing. I was told by my coach, and no fault to him, it was just, I just took it the wrong way, that my placing would be top three. I ended up getting fourth. First show ever, didn't even know anything about the sport. When most people would have been excited, I was upset. So, and I was visibly upset. So, in 2014, I wanted to revisit that amateur show and just be a good athlete regardless of the outcome. So I did that show. But we prepped. I met Jill maybe right after I did the Pittsburgh show. She was my coach, my new coach, and that was in July. We probably started working in August or September for like 9 months. Um, let's see, probably August, yeah. And then for about 9 months, I was on a calorie intake of, a lot of people don't believe me, but it was not, I remember, I'll never forget this number, 9,978 calories a day. Because I needed to get bigger. And Jill was like, the first thing we need to do is feed you. You got to get bigger. So I was eating the food. We prepped and did the AZ Pro in 2014. I did that show. I believe, in my opinion, I look good. Um, However, I didn't place well. Didn't let it concern me. Had a great time. Said congratulations to the winner. Now, I did ask for some feedback, and it was so odd, you know, because I asked, like, all right, what do I need to do better to place better in these shows? In my head, knowing I was already going to go back to the Pittsburgh show because once you competed in it, you can compete again. So I was already going back there anyway, but I still wanted some feedback. And they told me, a judge responded with, your physique was really good. You would just do better placing against better competition, like at the national shows or on a pro. But the thing is, these newer national shows or being pro, I can't get to unless you place me higher in this show. So I get whatever. Okay, so I just took it with a grain of salt. Basically, it's saying I look too good. That's how I'll take it. Fine, whatever. Get back to training. Um, I did one more show just to pretty much just to get my conditioning set. Um, I did another show at the end of the year, like in November. So I did that AZ Pro in July. I did another show in November, just to sort of get my conditioning down from all the food that I'd eaten, throughout the beginning parts of the year for the first 9 months or so. We get to 2015. The goal from there is only going back to Pittsburgh to do that national show. Now, my training for that one, I had really set it in my head. I set my bar high. I set the bar high to the point where I am not, if I don't get my pro card in this show, then I'm done. I'm not competing anymore. Because I'm not doing this anymore because I hate to lose. That's my thing. Like, I hate to lose more than I like winning. And I was like, if all I'm going to do is keep competing and losing, then I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm not a fan of it. So even when I was training, like the only in my head, my bar was high. So my bar was the five guys that had just competed at the Olympia in 2014. It was number one was Jeremy Buendia. Number two was Sadiq Hadzovic. Number three was Jason Poston. Number four was Matt Acton. And number five was Steve Cook. And I looked at these guys on YouTube when I was doing my cardio every day. I'm just watching their posing routines. That's where my bar was. My bar wasn't set at just being a pro. My bar was set at being placed next to the best of the best in the sport. That's how I was training. So while on my regimen, my game plan was 1 hour of cardio a day. I'm looking at these pros, these top five guys. I'm looking at their conditioning, looking at their abs. I did 3 hours a day. I was working out definitely 2 a days, 7 days a week. Some days I would get in 3 day workouts. My first cardio session would start at 4 o'clock in the morning. I would sleep in my shorts. I would wake up, put my tank top on, grab a t-shirt. Everything was just set right by the door. Put my socks on the bed, put on my shoes, walk to the bathroom, brush my teeth, walk out the house, go do my cardio, come back home, shower, eat breakfast, get ready for the day. And that's how every single day went as I was prepping for that show. Like, because in my head, like, this is what I'm going to do. My bar was set so high that other amateur athletes that I'd been around, that I'd seen, I had to, in my mind and my competitive nature, I had to outwork anything they'd ever seen, because the way I saw it, if I worked out anywhere close to them, then I would always beat them. It's that thing where if you keep doing what you've always done, then that's all you're ever going to do. And I was like, well, I don't want to keep doing that. So while they were doing 1 hour cardio, I'm doing 3. They're working out if they work out 2 a days, I'm doing 3. They work out once, I'm doing 2. And everything came to fruition and came to the light at the end of the tunnel. I went to the show in Pittsburgh, 2015, got my pro card. It was such an exciting feeling and such a rush, because I knew I had set my bar high. Because you have to understand, I told friends that didn't know anything about the sport. I told other amateurs that didn't even know a pro athlete that this is what I'm going to do. So they don't even really know what that means when I'm telling them this is what I'm going to do. Like, that was my goal. Your goal has to look like it can't happen to some people. It has to look crazy. You have to dream big. You got to dream crazy. And, coming from a small frame guy to where I was, to all of a sudden, like, yeah, I'm going to be a professional in this sport, in bodybuilder in the men's physique division. It was crazy to some people, which is fine to me, because I was going to show them how crazy I could work. And so I set that bar. And so, when you're on your fitness journey, is how it all comes back. Set your bar high. If you're just going to the gym, go to the gym to see if you like the crowd. Go to the gym to see if you like that gym. Go check out the daycare. Go check out the trainers. Just see, check out the drive it takes to get to the gym. Every part of it, every process of the process has to help you grow. And so when you set your bar high, no matter what you're doing, you're always growing, because you got to get to that bar. So you have to keep growing to get there. So remember, set your bar high. All right. Episode 3, the Make It Make Sense podcast. Coach Frank. Have a great day. And y'all know the motto: be grinding or be nothing. Peace.